Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are mixed this morning, with S&P futures down 0.01%, Dow futures down 0.08%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.28%. Markets have paused a bit this morning as traders look toward key American inflation data and second quarter earnings reports from the world's biggest banks, looking for indicators as to whether the price spike has peaked. Traders await the reported earnings for JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs, which actually just came out with the quarter two global markets revenue at $4.9 billion, as a way to gauge whether extreme valuations are underpinned by profit growth. Elsewhere in markets, treasuries and the dollar remain steady, while oil has risen for the third time in 4 days. Over in Europe, the Stoxx 600 index remained unchanged, with healthcare stocks having seen some decline. And over in Asia, Hong Kong outperformed as Chinese tech shares climbed after government approval of a Tencent Holdings deal eased concerns about stricter regulation. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, the S&Ps are essentially flat this morning. They were up a little bit, they're down a little bit, they're up a little bit right now. But, the media is really focused on the earnings from the banks this morning. But it's really the release of the CPI figures that's going to be the key for today. The CPI is a consumer price inflationary index. It's really going to, if it's running hot, you're going to see the market sell off today. The data is going to be closely scrutinized for cues on whether inflation is broadening out to other sectors of the economy. You look at a lot of these statements from the earnings reports last quarter, and many of the CEOs were saying they are concerned about inflation going into next quarter's earnings, which are being released this week and next week. I'm looking over at Europe. They're flat to higher right now. The DAX is actually 0.00% move right now. The FTSE's up a little bit. The CAC is down. You go over to Asia, the markets look strong. They all had some nice gains. Oil is always a key indicator for me. There's a monthly report that's released by the IEA, the International Energy Association, and they came out this morning, and they're expecting a forecast for non-OPEC supply growth of 60,000 barrels by the end of this year. So that's very interesting. We're seeing an increase in production across the board here, and OPEC itself, once they get the agreement resolved, that they're going to come out with production increases. But that's what I'm seeing this morning for market updates, Shane.
Well, let's go ahead and look at our earnings to watch. Bill, why don't you tell us how they've been doing so far?
Well, JP Morgan, they came in with a nice beat, but it was done on lower revenue. That's not good. You're looking at the stock this morning, it's down about 1%. Goldman Sachs, they beat by $4.79 on higher revenue. The stock opened up lower, but has since turned around and is now up 0.60%. Fastly, that's ticker FAST, Frank Apple Sam Tom, they beat by 1 cent, but it was done on lower revenue. You look at the stock, it's down 2% this morning. ConAgra, that's ticker CAG, Charlie Apple Grace, they beat by 2 cents on higher revenue, but the stock's down 3.51% this morning. Why? Because they lowered their guidance. Another one that came out was PepsiCo. PepsiCo, ticker PEP, Paul Edward Paul, they beat by 19 cents on higher revenue. And in addition to that, they raised guidance. You're looking at the stock this morning, it's up 1.2%. Raising the guidance is a really big deal. They're really betting on accelerating demand for sodas, in places like theaters and restaurants and stadiums as the country starts to open back up. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Pepsi, 150, 130. It's looking strong today.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about insights as far as upcoming earning announcements. It looks like Wednesday has quite a few coming out. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Bank of America is releasing Wednesday morning. The EPS is 77 cents. I'm expecting a move of 3.72% when they release. BlackRock, that's ticker BLK, Boy Laird Kilo. They're also releasing tomorrow morning. Their EPS is $9.28. Expected move there is a little over 3%, 3.08%. PNC Banks, that's ticker Paul, Paul, Nancy, Charlie, PNC. Their earnings per share estimate is $2.95. Expected move there is 3.51%. Wells Fargo, ticker WFC, William Frank Charlie. Their EPS estimate is 95 cents, and the expected move there is 4.62%. Citibank, the EPS estimate is $1.99. Expected move there is 3.78%. Delta Airlines, that's ticker DAL, David Apple Larry. They're expected to lose $1.39 when they release tomorrow morning. The expected move there is 4.85%. I'm not too concerned about oil there because they're typically hedged. Skies are opening up. More people are booking tickets. Yeah, Delta could see some gains. Schwab, the ticker SCHW, their EPS is coming in at 74 cents. That's the estimate. Expected move there is 3.88%. A little cautious there on Schwab.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, tell us what we're seeing today.
It all starts at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time with the Consumer Price Index, that CPI report. Everyone is going to be watching that for clues to how inflation is affecting the economy. At 8:55, we have the Red Book, the Johnson's Red Book on retail sales. Later today, we do have a lot of Fed speak at noon. Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic will be speaking at 12:45 p.m. Minneapolis Fed Bank President Neil Kashkari will be speaking. At 2:30 this afternoon, Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic will be speaking again. And at 2:50 p.m. Eastern Time, Boston's Fed Bank President Eric Rosengreen will be giving a speech.
Moving into our morning critical insights, starting things off with one on Boeing, ticker BA. Boeing has discovered a new defect on its 787 Dreamliner jet. The company expects the newly discovered defect to take at least 3 weeks to address, meaning its customers might not get new Dreamliners for as much of the traditionally busy summer travel season. Also on Boeing, the company announced today that it has delivered 79 commercial airplanes in the second quarter. Boeing share price is down 1.8% in pre-market. News on Parks, Hotels, and Resorts, ticker PK. The company is set to sell 2 of its San Francisco hotels for a total of $303.5 million. In other news, AstraZeneca, ticker AZN, and Johnson & Johnson, ticker JNJ, are conducting early-stage research as to whether potential modifications to their COVID-19 vaccines could reduce or eliminate the risk of blood clots that have been associated with the shots. Scientists who are working to identify the cause and re-engineer AstraZeneca's shot have a plan to complete the work by next year. News on Amazon, ticker AMZN. Amazon plans to hire over 100,000 U.S. veterans and military spouses by 2024. The company has more than 35,000 positions currently available in the U.S. Here's some SPAC merging news. SES, a company in the development and manufacturing of high-performance hybrid lithium metal rechargeable batteries for electric vehicles, is set to go public through a merger with the SPAC Ivanhoe Capital Acquisition, ticker IVAN. The combined companies have a value of $3.6 billion and will be listed on New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol SES. Ivanhoe's share price is currently up 7.55% in pre-market. More SPAC merger news. Altus Power, it's set to go public by a merger with the SPAC CBRE Acquisition. That's ticker CBRE or CBAH. The combined company is valued at $1.58 billion and is set to trade on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol AMPS. CBAH share price is up 1.42% in pre-market. More SPAC merging news. Policy Genius is in talks to go public in a merger with FRW Acquisition. That's ticker FRW. They're in talks about a potential merger that could facilitate the online insurance marketplace listing in the U.S. FRW share price is up 1.42% in pre-market. News on Broadcom, ticker AVGO. The company is in discussions to acquire software developer SAS Institute in a deal that could be valued between $15 billion and $20 billion. A deal could be finalized in the coming weeks. And Broadcom's share price is up 0.19% in pre-market. News on Alibaba, ticker BABA. Alibaba and several Chinese state-backed companies are considering bids for a 46.45 stake in cloud computing infrastructure provider Unisplendor, worth as much as $7.7 billion. In other news, CareMax, ticker CMAX, is up more than 10% in pre-market today after the company announced a partnership with related companies to develop senior health centers in underserved communities. Lastly, for me, one on Kraft Heinz Company, ticker KHC. The company has announced a new product to release to markets tomorrow, a macaroni and cheese flavored ice cream. So Kraft share price is down 0.28% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Shane, I break my news alerts down in specific segments. I want to see specific events. I'm like earnings. I want to see specific industries, whether it be retail, FANG, what have you. It just allows me to jump quickly on the breaking news. I'm looking at my FANG alert this morning, and Netflix is really popping out at me. Let's ticker NFLX. JP Morgan came out this morning. They're saying that Netflix expectations, they're talking about Netflix expectations on earnings, and they feel that the sentiment is fairly muted for the expectations, yet they're remaining bullish on the stock ahead of the earnings, and they believe that the data is suggesting an upside for this quarter in the content slate will attract viewers in the second half of this year. So they're very positive and bullish on Netflix. I look at Apple, that's ticker AAPL. Bank of America says the Apple's App Store growth deceleration in fiscal Q3. Revenue growth of 17% year over year for June is slightly lower than the comparison that was seen last year. So they're not too positive on the App Store for Apple. I wouldn't be betting against Apple. You can see peaks and valleys there, but they've got billions of dollars in cash. It's very idle. Google, it's ticker GOOG. Google has agreed to acquire a Japanese-based payment company. The name of the company is Pring, amid growing demand for cashless services in the country. We look over at Tesla, TSLA, Tom, Sam, Larry, Apple. Elon Musk is going to be returning to the stand today for a second day defending their $2.6 billion acquisition of Solar City in 2016. Going over to my Dow Jones 30 alerts. Visa, that's ticker V. McAfee announced that they're having a security solutions partnership with Visa. Verizon, that's ticker VZ, Victor Zebra. Hunway agrees to settle the U.S. patent lawsuit that it filed against Verizon. However, they didn't disclose the terms. Verizon is said to be happy with the deal, so that's all positive. Looking at some option headlines that are coming across the tape. I see these stocks with implied volatility movements, and they're always interesting to me. Twitter and Netflix, TWTR and NFLX, their vols are increasing, while Bed Bath & Beyond, ticker BBBY, is decreasing. When you're looking at the 1 month vols, kind of interesting to me. Dell, that's ticker DELL, Dell Technologies, their 30-day option implied volatility is at 26. Now you compare that to the 52-week range of 22 to 58. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because they're hosting a conference call today to discuss their ESG strategy. Other events going on today is Miller Herman, or Herman Miller, that's ticker MLHR, Michael, Larry, Henry, Robert. They're having their shareholders meeting today that's going to be starting at 10 a.m. Something on Citibank. They gave an upgrade to ZTE Corp. That's ticker ZTCOY, Zebra, Tom, Charlie, Oscar, Yellow. Thing is here that they went from sell all the way up to buy. They upgraded this thing, a double upgrade here, from sell to buy on ticker ZTCOY, ZTE Corp. But that's what I'm seeing this morning, Shane.
Well, let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. So I'm picking BlackRock, ticker BLK. This is an earnings play. So they've got an EPS estimate of $9.36 before market open tomorrow, Wednesday. The prices have remained in a strong uptrend for them in the past 12 months. They've been on a bullish pattern. They have a very strong and impressive earnings surprise history. They've surpassed estimates in each of the last 4 quarters with a surprise of 11.1% on average. And they're not a bank, so they're not depending on loans. So it's a lot more likely that it's going to be a positive move for them in their earnings report, that they did well this last quarter. So they're already up 0.28% in pre-market. So there's already some positive sentiment, but I expect them to go much higher. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
I'm going with Alcoa. That's ticker AA, Apple. Remember, this used to be a Dow stock. It's a raw materials play. It's an earnings play. The CPI numbers are being released this morning, and I got a feeling that they're going to be indicating a rise in inflation again. The hedge against, inflation is really raw materials. So you want to be long raw materials as a hedge against inflation. Now, Alcoa is also releasing earnings, which are due out Thursday. The stock is down marginally right now, but I think that Alcoa could really see some positive upside movement today after that CPI report and going into earnings. So I think you got two positive factors, two positive tailwinds that could push this stock up, $1, 1% today. So that's my pick today, Alcoa, ticker AA.
Okay, well, let's talk about what's hot off the press. So this is news that's hitting the tape as we speak. It's going to be moving the stock market today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Looking at our headlines, Bill, let's tell the traders which are the ones they should know about.
Consumer Price Index just came out, increased to 5.4% in June versus a 5% estimate.
Bally's, ticker BALY, has just bought the Association of Volleyball Professionals. This is interesting. United Airlines, ticker UAL, their corporate venture capital fund announced today that along with Breakthrough Energy Ventures, ticker BEV, and Mesa Airlines, ticker MESA, it has invested in electric aircraft startup Heart Aerospace, specifically in the ES-19 electric aircraft.
Ticker ROST, Richard Oscar Sam Tom. They're opening up a new store in Florida. There's one on BlackRock, ticker BLK. Advisors want to use more option strategies in client portfolios. BlackRock has found a way to help. Here's one on Etsy, ticker ETSY, Elvis, Tom, Sam, Yellow. They completed their Depop acquisition.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
Honeywell and Premier. That's Honeywell, ticker HON, and Premier, that's ticker PINC. They're collaborating to expand production of examination gloves. That's all I'm seeing, though, Shane.
So that'll do it for what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Monday. Bill, how'd yours end up doing?
I did the CRM, Salesforce, and it was up in the pre-market. All the technology stocks looked good, and then the market opened up and everything dropped. Opened up at $247.22 and closed out at $242.91, which was a loss of 1.74% yesterday. Not happy about that, but some days it happens.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.